Exactly, exactly. And, sometimes people want to just jump, and I get it. I understand it completely. However, most people, when they jump, they try to have an idea where they want to land. So that means you have to have some calculation, some forethought in what it is that you're doing. So before we just buy a piece of property and start, hey, we're going to go vertical with construction. No, no, no. We need to understand what is our cost. Are we going to have any impact fees or any other, regulations or anything that's going to hinder what it is we want to do? Is it going to make the process longer? Because if it is, then we need to make sure we hedge that against what hedge that in our risk and make sure we calculate that out because it'll increase our carrying costs.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Pros podcast powered by Investor Fuel. I'm your host, Scott Bursey. And today, pros, we have a heavy hitter joining us who is absolutely redefining what it means to lead with a servant's heart in the real estate space. Corwyn Melette isn't just closing deals, he's building legacies for families who need it most. Whether he's advocating for affordable housing or helping first-time buyers plant their roots, the feel he brings to the industry is phenomenal. Corwyn, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you so much for having me.
It is a pleasure having you here. And Corwyn, to help our listeners get up to speed, please give us the front row seat and how your career ignited and where you're pouring your fuel now.
Well, Scott, again, thank you so much. Corwyn Melette, South Carolina, Charleston area primarily, but work a few other parts of the state. I've been in the real estate business industry now for 22 years. I tell people I'm too stupid to leave it. For whatever reason, I keep finding something new. I don't know if I'm getting smarter along the way or what. I don't know. But been doing this for quite some time. Started with a smaller franchised office. Went from there to an independent that was owned by a nonprofit. That's what got me into affordable housing, or kind of got me deeper into it because I was already working in that space. And then continued there until I opened my own brokerage independent and bought a franchise. So I now own an office, an exit realty franchise, and then also co-own another office in the Columbia market of South Carolina as well.
That is awesome. And what really caught my attention about you was the way that you've been able to seamlessly bridge the gap between being a powerhouse broker owner at Exit Realty Low Country Group and a passionate advocate for sustainable home ownership. You haven't, just managed properties. You are actively fighting for affordable solutions and balancing that with smart rental investments. That kind of focus is rare.
hmm It is. It is. And Scott, getting into the business, initially, one of the things that really, really, really stood out to me was just that nobody really taught this stuff. I mean, people now talk about it all the time, but not many people back then really just kind of taught it and leaned in on it. And most people just focused on, to be very transparent, making money. I've heard, over the years, a number of different terms, social investing and a number of other different terms that kind of all surround, you can be an investor, you can make money, but in that process, you can help and serve people. And, I'm a firm firm believer. Zig Ziglar said this thing that you get what you want in life by helping other people get what they want. So if you focus on helping, you focus on serving, then in reciprocity, you'll find yourself getting things out of life that you want as well.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Absolutely. And that, my friend, is the winning recipe. Since you're so focused on the first time buyer market, we're curious to know what's the biggest strength your team leverages to turn a maybe buyer into a yes homeowner in this kind of tough market?
So, Scott, funny you should ask that. So what I would tell you, if I could frame it as one word, is curiosity. Most agents now are very, one size fits all. They don't put any extra effort in. They don't ask any questions. They tell the consumer the same thing. They say you got to have this credit score, you got to have this income, and you got to this, and if you don't meet any of that, then you can't buy a house. And that's not true. But that's what their mantra is. So curiosity is the thing that is in favor of my folks. Because what happened with my folks is what they do is they ask questions. Well, hey, I got this. So then we can strategize on the scenario. You got a person that has this income, these assets, or whatever credit score that they may have. And then we can work from there, asking and answering questions as we go along to help find them the better and best solution for them. And I'm a huge advocate. I don't like for people to have just one thing to do, meaning that it's all you can do. I like for people to have options. So we try to explore as many options as possible, and then let the consumer then vet those out, come in, okay, well, look, I don't like this, I don't like this, I don't like this, to get to what their decision is.
If I'm hearing you correctly, when you lead with curiosity instead of just a transaction, you build trust that lasts a lifetime.
Yes, exactly. And that keeps you in business. 22 years, I guess, maybe, I don't know, maybe I know something, I don't know. But, that keeps you in business because you're able to answer difficult questions. I learned this a long time ago. I did a transaction, this is a long time ago, but I did a transaction one time where I had just over $1,000 of documentable household income. And I was able to put someone in a $80,000 home at the time, which was, that's different market, don't get me wrong, but rates were similar to where they are now. So if I could put someone in a home back then with a $1,000, just over, I think it was $1,100 a month documentable income, by asking questions, by challenging, hey, this, can we do this, to get to a solution. It was a lady, and she had a disabled child. She was a full-time caregiver for the child. So we was able to make a difference for them. They were getting put out of where they were. They couldn't, the rent went up beyond what they could pay where they were. And we were able to make it happen. So the short of it is asking the questions and being willing to explore different options is what makes a difference and what makes a true professional, in my opinion.
Spot on. Asking the proper questions is everything. Caring about the person across from you is so important. Looking at the current landscape, we're curious. What's the one friction point or weakness you see in the affordable housing sector that you're most focused on currently?
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
So what I'm most focused on right now, and don't know if your audience really pays attention to the politics, right? Forgetting, parties and none of that stuff. But what matters is what they're doing. So the 21st Century Road to Housing Act, just is passed and is moving through. Hopefully that'll be signed soon. But the other side of that, what's embedded in there is an expansion of options for manufactured and modular housing. So factory built housing. We have, and then also other shifts and changes that will help trustfully ease some regulations to help give people more housing options. I work in that particular space. I'm a licensed manufactured housing retailer, as well in the state of South Carolina. And one of the things that I know is that manufactured housing came about as the first affordable housing option because, people site built homes, the cost, the time it took, it was easier and oftentimes in certain locales much less expensive to build housing in a factory and deliver it quote unquote on site. So those options are what I'm paying attention to going forward. This is going to help create housing for people who otherwise have been shut out.
That type of strategy right there, Corinne, is what separates the pros from the rest of the pack. And on that note, what is some of your strategy for the next 12 to 24 months?
So 12 to 24 is development, construction. We're actively looking for, lots and small parcels to be able to start building homes, modular or manufactured as well as, site built. We have a construction arm in house now as well. And we're looking to create options for people not, beyond what they currently see in market. Not every person wants to be in a large subdivision. Some want to be on some land, a little bit more so out in the country or acreage or what have you. And not every, you know, affordable housing, developer, works all areas. Most times funds are limited. Funding for certain types of housing is limited to specific areas. So we're looking to serve those people who are in those areas that are left out, that are outside of those rings, if you will, or those locales where money and funding is normally available. We're looking to go outside of that and help to create options for people they may not know exist.
I love that. And Corinne, you're balancing rental investments and advocacy work. Where do you see the biggest hidden opportunity for an investor to serve the community while still keeping their margins healthy?
Well, so the rental market is everybody has to have a place to stay, right, Scott? I mean, shelter is that fundamental thing. So if we focus on that, you want to focus in areas where, there's two things. You want to focus in areas where there's growth and development because there's going to be a housing need and housing will become more expensive, which means that some people will need more rental options in those particular areas. But then you also want to look at on the other end of the spectrum, the areas that are underserved. Your rural markets are underserved, and those areas are where majority of what I currently hold are. Matter of fact, all of them are where they are currently in more rural areas that have less opportunity. And even some of those markets, one market in particular, we're working on a particular or renovation, budgeting out a renovation now on a property now that I hold in a rural area, and there isn't many short-term rentals, and it's an area that there are things that go on, families that, seek to come home and visit people, et cetera, but they don't have many hotel options. The hotel options in town are not good. So what that leaves is an opportunity for short-term rentals in the particular market. So, that's something I'm exploring now with a project that we have to do a renovation on, doing a short-term rental on it. And I'm super excited about it. Casting the vision, already have the vision ready to share it and ready to run with it.
Exactly. You don't have to sacrifice profit to have a purpose. You're living proof of that.
Exactly. And that's the thing, Scott. Most times people think it's just about making money and not saying that you won't, have or be able to achieve that. But if you serve greater, if you look at, okay, I want to help somebody, then what you'll find is you'll go down the road and at some point in time you realize how well you were served in serving someone else.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Absolutely. That's spot on. And Corinne, we're seeing a lot of shifting tides in real estate regulation. What's the biggest threat to your current pipeline, and what play by play moves are you making to hedge against it?
So, the biggest thing is always, and as we getting over into, development, construction, all that stuff, the biggest thing is regulations, you know, things that slow down the process of doing a project, you know, development, impact fees, all those kind of things. So we're paying attention to the areas that we're looking to work in to figure out what they're looking at doing. Starting to get hands on the minutes from the county council meetings, city council meetings to understand what they're talking about and trying to make sure we get plugged in before we, lean in further into a particular area. Just to make sure that we're not going to get hit with any sudden surprises or anything of that nature.
Defensive strategy is key. Staying
Mhm.
liquid and informed is how we survive the storms.
Exactly, exactly. And, sometimes people wanna just jump, and I get it. I understand it completely. However, if you when you most people, when they jump, they try to have an idea where they wanna land. So that means you have to have some calculation, some forethought in what it is that you're doing. So before we just buy a piece of property and start, hey, we're going to go vertical with construction. No, no, no. We need to understand what is our cost. Are we going to have any impact fees or any other, regulations or anything that's going to hinder what it is we want to do? Is it going to make the process longer? Because if it is, then we need to make sure we hedge that against what we're, hedge that in our risk and make sure we calculate that out because it'll increase our carrying costs.
Absolutely. What a nice breakdown. And Corinne, you built an impressive organization at Exit Realty. What's the it factor you look for when you're hiring agents who actually care about sustainable home ownership as much as you do?
That's a hard one, Scott. So I look for people to have a heart. You can have a business mind, but a service heart. And sometimes, people don't think those two things go together, they don't mesh, but they do. So I look for people to have a service heart that want to really serve people. Agents that are only focused on making money usually don't make it too long with me. And the reason that is because they usually, it's hard. When you're only focused on making money, you can find yourself doing a disservice to others.
Character over commission. That's
Mhm,
how you build a culture that thrives, not just survives.
mhm.
And we're very interested to know what is the most overlooked strategy for an investor looking to scale their rental portfolio while remaining a champion for the affordable housing families that you serve?
So find the need. And what I mean by find the need, your tenants had a need. Find out what they need next and find out who else needs what they need.
Absolutely. And those are great words of wisdom. And really, Corinne, you've given us a lot of words of wisdom. Is there any additional advice that you could leave with our pros here today?
No more than what you do. And what I mean by that is very simply get an understanding about more than what it is that you do. Many times people just are so boxed in that they don't know anything going on outside of what they're boxed in on. And those things that are going on outside of your box eventually are going to spill into your box, and you need to know what's going on. Understanding what's going on at the local, state, as well as national legislative levels. And not saying you have to be an expert, but you need to understand what is going to have an impact or trickle down effect into your business. So having some knowledge, some understanding is going to be extremely beneficial to you in the bigger picture.
Corinne, you have really brought the fuel today. For those of our listeners that want to keep this conversation moving, stay in your lane, or collaborate with you, what is the best way for them to plug into your pipeline and reach you directly?
I'm pretty easy to find. Guys, I have a weekly radio show that airs on a couple of radio stations in South Carolina, the podcast. Exit Strategies radio show. You can connect with us there, or you can find me on social media. I'm pretty easy to find. Most of my my signs are C Melette. So that's facebook.com/C Melette, CMELE TTE. And if you look for me on Instagram, I'm Corwyn, CORWYN _ the real estate preacher. So find me wherever you can, guys. I'm pretty easy to locate.
Thank you for joining us today, Corwyn.
Thank you, Scott, so much for having me.
And to our listeners, we appreciate you. If you got value from today's episode, please subscribe. We'll be fueling your tanks with elite guests just like Corwyn Melette, who are accelerating and setting the pace for the rest of the industry. Until next time, keep your standards high and your vision clear. We'll see you in the next episode, everyone.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.